One of my favorite moments as a kid was watching my dad chuckle when he would watch reruns of I Love Lucy. Based on the color of some of your hairs or the fact that some of you don't have hair at all, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The rest of you youngins here will have to ask others what I Love Lucy was all about. But my father had one line that he passed down to me that was my favorite. It's when he came home and Lucy did something that was mischievous or problematic, and he always said, "Lucy, you have some explaining to do." He loved that line. I love that line. There was something very sweet, very comical about it. That line's been playing in my head for the last 11 months. Not to Lucy. It's been playing in my head every time I talk to God. I feel like saying to God, "God, you have some explaining to do." Today is a day where all of us are supposed to look inward. We're supposed to make relationships right with our spouses, with our work families, with our partners, with our children. We're supposed to make right with ourselves, and we're supposed to make right with God. But does God owe us anything today? Should God make something right with us? Rabbi Levi of Berditchev tells this fantastic story of a conversation that he had with God, where they each brought a list of all of their transgressions. And Levi of Berditchev says, "I was rude to my wife." And God said, "I created a plague." Then Levi of Berditchev said, "I didn't pay attention to my children when they needed me." And God said, "2 hurricanes." Then Levi of Berditchev said, "I missed a few days of davening." And God said, "I created a new form of cancer." So Levi of Berditchev turns to God and says, "I'll tell you what, you have a list, I have a list. Why don't you give me the chance to start over, and I'll give you the chance to start over." God says, "Good deal." Except when Levi of Berditchev tells this story to someone else, they said, "Rabbi Levi, how dare you? How dare you? How did you let him off the hook? When there is a children's cancer ward in the world, how did you let him off the hook? When you walk through the fresh graves at Har Herzl, how did you let him off the hook?" Today is a day where all of us have to take some time and think about ways we can be better. And there's not a person in this room that doesn't have ample room for improvement. Today is a day where we begin the process of talking to others and saying, "I haven't been my best self. There's some ways that I'm going to be better." Those are hard conversations, but we're all capable of doing it. But I also think that all of us have some talking to God to do, and I think God has some talking to us to do. And I pray that on this last recitation of Kol Nidre, you can dial in your hearing aids and pay attention to the conversations that we're about to have, starting now, with God, our Creator, who has some explaining to do.